What's going on, guys? It's Mike again, back for another gear review. Today what we're going to be reviewing is the Schecter KM-7 MK-III Standard series. So this one is going to be the entry-level Keith Merrow guitar from Schecter. The last video that I did was on the hybrid series, which is basically the next tier up. But we're going to be going over the entry-level model today. And I will say, even for an entry-level guitar, this thing is quite stunning. It plays well. And yeah, it's just a really great guitar. So let's go ahead and flip this camera around, and I'm going to go ahead and go over the specs of this guitar with you guys. So let's start off here, just like I did on the last video, with the headstock. So if you notice, the headstock is exactly the same as it is on the hybrid. Shape and all. Looks really nice. Something just aesthetically pleasing about these headstocks, man. It's obviously got, black hardware, black tuners, as you can see. We've got an Ernie ball compensated nut. As I mentioned in the video last time, these are pretty much on every single one of Keith Merrow's guitars. And I can't blame the guy, man. These Ernie ball compensated nuts are pretty awesome. They help with tuning stability and everything else. So they're just really great to have on a guitar. Moving down, we've got our ebony fretboard. These are not stainless steel frets, so I would imagine they're probably nickel. We've got aluminum offset inlay dots, which are pretty cool. I mean, it makes it kind of hard to see, on stage and whatnot, but it really does add to that real sleek and stealthy looking aesthetic of the guitar. So we'll go ahead and continue down. Very similar to the hybrid model that I was talking about the last time. It has the truss rod adjustment down at the neck heel, or at the bottom of the neck, rather. Just makes for easy adjustments on the fly. If you're traveling, everything else like that. Climates do, make a difference on the way your guitar plays and the setup and everything else. So if you have to make a quick adjustment, that's there for convenience, which is really great. And it also helps out that there's not this big plastic thing on your headstock, blocking up some of the finish. One more thing actually about the headstock, if you notice, it shares the same finish as the rest of the body. The finish on this guitar is Trans Black Burst, is what they're calling it. It is a swamp ash body with a quilted maple top. And to be honest with you, for an entry-level guitar, this thing is very well done. There aren't too many QC issues that I've noticed on this guitar. I was very pleased with it whenever it came out of the box. It was set up pretty well. Also, to mention, just the overall aesthetic of the guitar is it's really nice looking. If we go in here, we're gonna look. These are actually not Keith Merrow's signature pickups. These in fact are Schecter pickups that were developed with Keith Merrow. So the voicing, is basically set up by Keith Merrow, but to be honest with you, my personal opinion, because I have Keith Merrow's pickups in just about every single guitar of mine, the Fishman Fluence pickups just make a huge difference. But I will say that these pickups, all in all, don't really sound all that bad. You guys will get a chance to hear them. We'll be doing a shootout between the standard and the hybrid here pretty soon. That is a Schecter bridge that we're looking at there. Hardtail bridge. It's actually really comfortable to play. There's no sharp edges or anything else like that. So whenever you're doing, your chugga-chuggas, it's not going to dig into your hand. It's actually very comfortable to play. So let's take a look over here. We've got a single volume knob. We've also got a pickup selector. And this little switch down here at the bottom is a two-way mini toggle for coil splitting. So these pickups may not be Fishman's. They may not have multiple voices, but you do have the ability to coil split, which is actually really cool. And it gives some more versatility to the guitar. Overall, I think more options on a guitar, in my opinion, are just pretty damn awesome. But that's the front of the guitar here. Let's see, what else did I not cover? The neck. It is a compound radius neck, just like the hybrid series. So it's a 12 to 16 inch radius. It's also a 24 fret neck, if I didn't mention that before. Very much just like, the hybrid series that I went over before. All right, let's take a look. We're going to flip the guitar around. Take a look at the back of this thing. And one thing that I'm going to mention right off the bat is just this neck is stunning. It is a 5-piece roasted maple and hard maple neck. Just look at it. I mean, it just looks beautiful. The shape of the neck, Schecter describes as an ultra thin C, which I believe is like a personal preference. It's custom shaped by Keith Merrow. It's something that is mainly only on his guitars. And only reason I know that is because I watched a live stream that Ken Susi did from Fishman with Schecter guitars, and I happened to ask if there would be any other models sharing the same neck shape, to which they told me basically they're only on Keith's guitars, but to keep an eye out because Keith will be coming out with some more guitars. Let's see. These right here are just regular Schecter tuners. They're not locking, so you don't get that added bonus, that extra feature, which honestly, I mean, it's not really a deal breaker. It's super simple to upgrade. You know, it costs you maybe about $80 to get yourself a set of locking tuners. But to be honest with you, I didn't really have too many tuning issues with this guitar. If I didn't mention it before, this was actually my personal guitar, and I since then sold it to a bandmate, and he was kind enough to actually let me borrow this guitar to do this review and to do the shootout that I have planned. So thank you to Randy on that one. But let's keep talking about this guitar here. So the back of the body, if you can look at that, is basically like an open grain stained black finish. As I mentioned before, the body is swamp ash, so it is very, very light. Obviously, this one right here, you're not getting that neck through that you would get on the hybrid. It is a bolt-on, but you know, for it being a bolt-on, you still have access to all the upper frets. There's some extra cutouts here in the body that kind of help you access that higher area on your neck. And you know, it's just a really nice playing guitar. One thing I will mention, definitely, because it is a swamp ash body, this thing is pretty neck heavy. So, I mean, unlike the hybrid, from what I've noticed, then the hybrid, you know, didn't really have too many neck dive issues. I mean, it did, you know, sag just a little bit, but it sat pretty level. This one I did notice whenever I had it set up with a strap, there's a significant amount of neck dive. So for those of you that, you know, don't typically care to fight your guitar for neck dive and everything else like that, that is something to consider. But I will say, for what the guitar is, it's an entry level. The way it's spec'd out, honestly, sometimes you kind of have to take the lesser of the evil, if you know what I mean. But all in all, it's a great guitar. There's your control cavity there. You know, just to say that control cavity is very small on the inside, and the body of this guitar is pretty thin. So if you're thinking about, you know, jamming a bunch of stuff in there, maybe swapping pickups out, I would do my research. If you're planning on doing active pickups with the battery pack and everything else like that, maybe a little bit difficult because of how small that cavity space is in there. But, you know, I'm sure there's a way around it. Or if you're a passive pickup person, I mean, it would be a breeze. And having that added, you know, toggle switch for the coil splits would be super easy if you got yourself a set of pickups that do allow you to coil split. Look back here, like I mentioned before, you have a hardtail bridge. This is a string through body, obviously. There is also, it's kind of hard to see, but a single layer of black binding on the body. The neck itself, there's no binding on the neck, but these side dots here are lumen lay side dots, and I will tell you, these things glow, man. That was the first thing I noticed when I pulled it out of the box. Saw that they had lumen lays, so I stepped outside for a second to charge them up with the sunlight. And when I had came back inside, stepped into a dark room, man, these things, you could see them really, really well. So if you're playing on a dark stage or anything else like that, that is something that is an added bonus in my opinion. Like I said before, as far as quality control issues, I didn't really find too many. The only spot that I really did was up here on the neck. You just have some finish imperfections right here. And on the opposite side of the headstock, I'm sorry, I said neck, I meant headstock, excuse me. But it's, honestly, I don't even know if it will show up on the camera. It's really hard to tell. But let's see if we can, there we go. There's just some little imperfection right here with the grain. Maybe they just didn't sand it down enough before they cleared it. But other than that, I will say that this is a solid playing guitar. It feels great. Doesn't sound terrible. Sounds pretty good. Right out of the box, this thing is ready for you to play. I mean, setup and everything else. I mean, obviously it'd be worth a double check, but for the most part, that's pretty much it. I think I may have already gone over everything, so I hope you guys enjoyed it. I know for a fact that before I bought this guitar, there was not really a whole lot of information on it, as far as videos, reviews, or anything else. A lot of people basically just did the review of the Artist Series. And in all honesty, I mean, yeah, the Artist Series is a great guitar. It's an amazing guitar, but it is kind of expensive. So that was definitely one thing that was kind of hard for me to decide on whenever I did decide to get this guitar. But to be honest with you, it wasn't a mistake. It was a really good guitar. And the only reason that I did, in fact, sell it to my guitarist was the fact that I was trying to upgrade it with Keith's signature Fishman Fluence pickups. And I wanted to add their rechargeable battery pack. And because I wanted to do that, there wasn't really a whole lot of space in the body, and we were talking about some heavy modifications to try to make that battery pack fit, making a separate cavity for it and everything else. And honestly, it was just going to be too costly. I didn't feel like dealing with the headache. So, I ended up basically selling the guitar to a good friend of mine. And he loves the guitar, so it went to a really great home. I know it'll get good play, it'll get loved. And I upgraded to the hybrid series. So if you're in the market, for a guitar that's not so heavy on your wallet, that has good quality woods, good quality parts, sounds good, and will definitely get you by, this is a good guitar to look into. Other than that, guys, I really got not much else to say about it. I will be doing, like I said, a shootout between the Standard and the Hybrid series. So keep your eyes peeled for that. Also, my friend Ken Susi over at Fishman, hooked me up with some stuff. And I will be doing a shootout of some Fishman pickups on one of my 6-string guitars. So definitely keep an eye out on that one if you're in the market for some Fishmans. By the way, if you have not looked into Fishman pickups, you really should. They are amazing pickups, an amazing company. They really take care of people. And man, they're changing the game when it comes to pickups. But other than that, I've been Mike, signing out now. Do me a favor, hit the like and subscribe. Share this video with your friends. I'm trying to expand this channel, and I'm really trying to bring content to you guys that personally, when I go looking for stuff, I can't find certain specifics or whatever it may be. So, hey, like I said, thank you for tuning in. I hope you enjoyed, and we'll see you next time.